In the eerie twilight of Halloween night, a young boy named Lucas, accompanied by his friends Jake and Ethan, Eric, a freckle-faced 7-year-old with bright green eyes and a mop of unruly brown hair, dressed as a ghost. Following him was Jake, a 7-year-old with a love for superheroes, wearing a red cape, and Ethan, an 8-year-old with glasses and an insatiable curiosity, playing the role of a mini-detective. Their laughter echoed through the crisp autumn air as they went from house to house, collecting candy. Little did they know, their joyous night was about to take a dark turn. A group of high schoolers, decked out in their own costumes, intercepted the trio. These teenagers, acting more like rowdy frat boys, were led by a tall, imposing figure named Mike, who sported a devil's horns headband and carried a sinister-looking staff. They held beer cans in their hands, and their laughter had a menacing undertone. "Hey, little kiddos, looks like you've stumbled into the wrong territory," Mike taunted, his voice dripping with malice. "You're coming with us!" Eric, Jake, and Ethan exchanged fearful glances, realizing they were outnumbered. Reluctantly, they followed their captors to a nearby cemetery, where the eerie moonlight cast long, eerie shadows over ancient tombstones. In the heart of the cemetery, the high schoolers gathered around a makeshift altar. Their voices joined in eerie unison as they chanted, summoning a grotesque amalgamation of skeletal remains that loomed menacingly, threatening to tear the small boys apart. Just when all hope seemed lost, a sudden burst of courage and determination emerged from the darkness. A 13-year-old girl, pale as a ghost and dressed in a simple flower print dress, with fiery red hair cascading down her back, stepped forward. With a swift and unexpected punch, she shattered the creature's arm, sending bones scattering. The room fell silent in disbelief. Her voice was strong and soothing as she addressed the terrified boys. "Fear not, young ones. I am here to save you," she said with a reassuring smile. "You can call me Evelyn Blackwood." The boys, stunned and grateful, looked up at their unexpected savior with wide eyes, their belief in the supernatural taking a drastic turn on this spine-chilling Halloween night. Mike, the high schooler with devil horns on his costume, let out a wicked laugh and taunted, "Are you looking to party with us, little lady?" Evelyn, undeterred, courtesied with a sly grin and replied, "You're far too young for me, young man." Everybody began to laugh, momentarily defusing the tension. However, things took a sinister turn when the high schoolers resumed their chanting, summoning more of those grotesque creatures from the realm of the dead. Some had heads resembling cats, while others had dog-like faces. It was a dark display of necromantic power. Evelyn, realizing the peril they were in, stepped forward, her eyes determined. "You boys are messing with powers that you do not understand," she warned, her voice carrying an air of authority. With a swift motion, she unleashed her inner strength, engaging in a fierce battle against the hordes of monsters. She fought valiantly, using her quick reflexes and supernatural abilities to fend off the encroaching horrors. But as the creatures multiplied and closed in, Evelyn began to be overwhelmed. The teenagers watched in sadistic amusement, their laughter echoing through the eerie cemetery. As the relentless horde of skeletal monsters closed in on Evelyn, it seemed that all hope was lost. But just when things appeared dire, a sudden surge of magical energy disrupted the eerie atmosphere. One of the towering skeleton monstrosities was lifted by an unseen force and crushed into dust, its bones scattering into the night. This dramatic intervention was the work of Anna, a strikingly different character compared to Evelyn. With her jet black hair and gothic style, she exuded an air of mysterious elegance in her short black dress, black makeup, and a nose ring that glinted in the moonlight. Anna was a friend of Evelyn's, her age hovering between 14 and 15, and she possessed a unique set of magical abilities. One of the younger boys, trying to muster up courage amidst the chaos, attempted a clumsy pickup line, to which Anna simply rolled her eyes with a smirk. She had more important matters to attend to, like dealing with the horde of supernatural threats. With a flick of her wrist, Anna crushed another skeleton, demonstrating her formidable power. Her movements were graceful and swift, in stark contrast to the panic that had taken hold of Eric, Jake, and Ethan. Amid this magical showdown, The tension reached its peak when Mike, the high schooler who had led the sinister ritual, was suddenly impaled by a shard of bone. His costume fell away, revealing a disheveled man in a brown trench coat clutching a bag of alcohol. He looked more like a desperate wanderer than a leader of anything. The revelation left everyone stunned as the true nature of their tormentor became clear, while the ominous figure in the trench coat, his dark intentions exposed to the moonlight. In the eerie aftermath of Mike's unmasking, the wounded man in the tattered brown trench coat began to speak. His voice carried a weight of ancient knowledge and malevolence, sending shivers down the spines of all present. "I am Nyarlathotep," he proclaimed with a chilling resonance, a name that sent a shudder through the very air around him. Once Halloween was a night of true significance, a night when mortals trembled before the unknown forces that lurked in the shadows. His voice grew more somber as he continued. "These rituals were never meant to be mere games, but a connection to powers beyond your comprehension. I resent the fact that I'm reduced to relying on the whims of foolish teenagers to complete my ancient rites." Nyarlathotep's eyes bore into those gathered, his gaze filled with centuries of malevolence. "You, children, are but pawns in a grander scheme," he hissed, unaware of the horrors that await when the true darkness returns. As his monologue hung in the air like a looming storm, the realization dawned on everyone present that they had unwittingly become entangled in the affairs of an ancient, malevolent deity. The true nature of Halloween and the dire consequences of their involvement became starkly apparent, leaving them all with a sense of dread and foreboding. In the dimly lit cemetery, as Nyarlathotep continued his monologue, his motivations began to emerge. He spoke of ancient cosmic cycles, the rise and fall of forgotten civilizations, and the hunger for power that transcended time and space. "My motivations are rooted in the cosmic dance of existence," Nyarlathotep intoned, his voice filled with a sinister longing. "I seek to harness the energy of Halloween, a night when the boundary between realms grows thin. The rituals performed on this night grant me power, the likes of which can reshape reality itself." Anna couldn't help but roll her eyes at Nyarlathotep's dramatic speech. She muttered under her breath, "I thought I was an edgelord." Evelyn, always quick with a quip, couldn't resist chiming in. She grinned at Anna and teased, "Seems like we have a new edgelord in the house." The two shared a moment of camaraderie in the face of cosmic malevolence. Then, Evelyn's tone shifted as she turned to Anna with a more serious question. "Anna, do you have any knowledge of this ancient entity's weaknesses? We need a way to stop him." Anna's face grew pensive as she considered the question. "I'll have to consult my texts and see what I can find. But one thing's for sure, we can't let this Halloween ritual continue." The dark motivations of Nyarlathotep became clearer, and the unlikely duo of Evelyn and Anna prepared to face the ancient deity in a battle that would determine the fate of not just Halloween night, but perhaps the entire cosmic order. As tension mounted in the eerie cemetery, Evelyn glanced at her watch and inquired about the time. Her watch revealed that they had a mere 12 minutes left until midnight, the witching hour. Nyarlathotep, the dark god, grinned wickedly and responded, "More than enough time to deal with you two." With a malevolent incantation, Nyarlathotep summoned a grotesque creature from the depths of Lovecraftian lore. It emerged with writhing tentacles and an otherworldly aura, its presence casting a shadow of dread over the battlefield. Evelyn, the half-vampire with enhanced strength and speed, and Anna, the witch skilled in blood magic and telekinesis, braced themselves for the battle ahead. Their unique abilities had prepared them for moments like this, but facing an ancient god's monstrosity was a daunting challenge. The battle raged on, with the two girls combining their powers in a choreographed display of supernatural prowess. Evelyn moved with lightning, fast reflexes, her vampire heritage granting her agility. She unleashed powerful blows and evasive maneuvers, while Anna used her mastery of blood magic to conjure protective wards and offensive spells. As the dark god continued his ceremony, controlling the followers of the first boy through fear, the fate of the young boys hung by a thread. Desperation mounted, but just as all hope seemed lost, a knife flew from the shadows, striking Nyarlathotep in one of his eyes. With chilling precision, he caught a second blade with his bare hand. His anger boiling over, Nyarlathotep demanded to know who had dared to challenge him. From the shadows emerged a young man, appearing to be in high school, with black hair, piercing blue eyes, and a vampire hunter costume. He casually greeted Anna and Evelyn, saying, "Sorry I'm late, girls. The Halloween party was too much fun." The group shared a moment of camaraderie and lighthearted banter before the young man declared, "Looks like it's time for the valiant vampire hunter to take the scene." Nyarlathotep roared in anger, his voice carrying an ancient, incomprehensible dialect that shook the earth beneath them. Tentacles began to sprout from his back, and an unspeakably grotesque creature, so hideous and horrifying that it caused the young boys to faint at the sight, emerged from his form. The three heroes stood ready, facing an unimaginable nightmare. With courage in their hearts, they prepared to confront the eldritch horror and thwart Nyarlathotep's sinister plans, knowing that this would be one of the toughest fights of their lives. Amid their harrowing battle, Lucas, holding 2 daggers, remembered his grandfather's advice. He exclaimed, "My grandfather said we just have to hold off until midnight." Even as the monstrous conjurations continued their relentless assault, the trio worked together, their teamwork growing stronger with each passing moment. Lucas, wielding the daggers that held a divine significance, retorted to the dark god's claim that such weapons would not work on him. "These pitiful weapons were made from the spear that stabbed Christ," Lucas replied with a mischievous smile. "You might not be a Christian, but it's empowering these weapons." Amid the chaos of the battle, the trio bantered playfully. Anna, using her magic, gave Lucas a boost, allowing him to leap off her magical platform and throw his throwing knives at the abominations created by the dark god. Their camaraderie brought a sense of unity in the face of overwhelming odds. Evelyn, meanwhile, grappled fiercely with the dark god, her superhuman strength pitted against his eldritch might. But no matter how hard they fought, it seemed impossible to overpower him. With every moment that passed, he grew stronger, and they grew weaker. As the dark god began his gloating monologue about his strength and their weakness, Lucas interrupted, prompting Evelyn with an unexpected request. "Evelyn, do me a favor and give me a hickey." Evelyn, baffled by the request, questioned the timing, but Lucas insisted, "Just bite me." With a roll of her eyes, Evelyn obliged, sinking her teeth into Lucas's neck. At that moment, the shadows enveloped her, the sky grew darker, and she transformed into a grown woman. Her hair lengthened, her nails became claws, wings sprouted from her back, and her dress shifted into a different, more vampiric style. In a different, more mature voice, she asked Anna, "How much time do we have?" Anna smiled and replied, "Just 3 minutes." Evelyn looked determined, asking for a boost from Anna. With Anna's magic aiding her, Evelyn and the dark god clashed, their battle escalating to unimaginable speeds, leaving mere traces of their movements in the night. Meanwhile, Lucas scrambled to his feet, scooping up the young boys. "Okay guys, time to go. This is getting way above my pay grade," he quipped with a grin. One of the boys asked for Lucas's name, and Lucas chuckled, saying, "Now you sound like Evelyn." "My name is Lucas." Another boy chimed in, "My name's Lucas." Lucas ruffled the boy's hair and said, "It's a good name, kid." As Lucas escorted the kids to safety, Evelyn and the dark god continued their epic battle. The cemetery shook as shadows danced, headstones broke, and roars echoed in the distance. But then, as the clock struck midnight, a bell rang out, and the dark god fell back to the ground. Evelyn, in her full vampire form, approached with a triumphant smirk. "Looks like the bell tolls for you," she said. The dark god's form began to evaporate, and with a final taunt he declared, "I am eternal, and Halloween is every year. I'll see you next year, children," as he dissolved into the night. As the kids ran away in the distance, Lucas called out to them, "Hey, you guys want any candy?" Evelyn accepted a bag of candy, and Anna asked, "Are there any gumdrops in there?" Lucas, with a grin, replied, "No, you're too late." Anna mutters, "This is definitely not normal." They shared laughs and light-hearted moments, their bonds strengthened by the extraordinary adventure they had just experienced on this unforgettable Halloween night.